This is a story of dirty little secrets um, that involve what I've written here. There's always, just like there's code behind this, there's also, there are stories behind this. And sometimes the stories are they're kind of dirty. They're ugly. They belie the pretty surface, just like in Asena's wonderful story about the ugliness and the difficulty behind fashion shoots. So I'm just going to point a few of these out, and I own them, and that's the way it is. For example, I have 3 damned Twitter accounts. Why? I don't know. They evolve for different purposes, but they're really a pain in the butt now that I've got 3 of them, that I have to keep track of all of them. So I'm not good at advanced planning sometimes. I tend to go with the flow, and that's both good and bad. Another larger dirty picture here, dirty secret, is that this came from a larger piece, and I kind of ripped it out of it and did cosmetic surgery on it in order to make it fit here. And I really don't like it all that much. Not like I like the original piece, which I will publish at the end of DigitalRimo month, just so that I can feel good about myself. It's not bad, but I'm not happy with it. That's one of the dirty little secrets about digital writing, is that I rarely am happy about what I make. I use the word translation. Okay. This is no great, huge discovery on my part. I'm simply using a word in a different way. And sometimes we do that and we create our own jargon in digital writing that is infuriating. It's like the jargon I discovered when I was trying to read Deleuze and Guattari, Rhizomatic Learning. I have no use for it, and I find myself doing it here. Along that line, I also use the word repertoire. Where is that? There it is. There's that bad little word. Oh, I act as if I'm some sort of composer or musician who has a great big toolbox full of things that he can do and pieces that he can, and it's simply not true. I have very few pieces that I can do, very few talents and skills that I can do in digital writing, and it's kind of infuriating sometimes how this oftentimes turns into the problem of quick and done, getting stuff done quickly. It's a problem my students have. It's a terrible problem for them. They tend to write stuff that they could be a lot better, but never gets to be better. So repertoire is a hoity-toity word that I put in there and maybe shouldn't have, but I like too much. I just like it too much. I talk about tools like Canva. Canva is a lot of fun, and I act as if I know it really, really well, and I don't. In fact, like a lot of my students, I know a very, very thin slice of Canva only moderately deeply. So I wish I had the time to spend more time with it. I wish I could create more things with it. And I say that a week rarely goes by that I don't use it. Well, yeah, yes and no. It's a great tool that I know only partly well. And I think maybe I come off as knowing it better than I do. That's a dirty little secret. Even here, you see in this picture, the background picture is one I took, but it was one of dozens and dozens I took, and I just accidentally got the right one with this nice little stream of light in it. There's no skill on my part. And also this notion of daydream one thing, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I stole that from somebody. I can't remember it. I'd give them credit if I remembered it, but, you know, there it is. I really admire folks who can create these tools, like these meme generation tool, like the Einstein generator that I created this on, or the Magic 8 Ball one I love. But the fact of the matter is that I'm just a fill-in-the-blank artist, and what I have done is little more than tack a little bit of creativity onto the real creativity, which is writing the code that creates these tools. And I'm sure that almost anybody who codes these things will tell you, well, I just ripped it off from somebody else. Okay, that's fair. But, you know, I do feel sometimes like I'm just a Mad Lib writer. The most interesting thing that I put in here in the whole piece is this Canva Design School. And here it is. I hide it, you know, talk about burying the lead. This is where you can really learn how to use these tools to actually create things, to have creative ideas. It's fabulous. You should go there. And the dirty little secret is I've only done a couple of the tutorials in here. So, again, not following my own advice. I love to quote things, and James Carse is my favorite. His book about finite and infinite games is deep, full, and worth reading. And I've read it, and the assumption is that I understand it if I can quote it. But honestly, there's a lot in it that I don't get. There's some stuff in there that I look at it and say, this is complete nonsense. So, by quoting him, it makes it seem like I agree with everything he says, or that I even understand what he says. And the fact is that, well, I'm not sure. So the rest of this is about other stuff that other people have done. And that brings up the whole notion of prompts, which I have problems with. You know, obviously people can choose or not choose to do or not do this writing prompt, which is right up here. Use Canva to generate memes like Grumpy Cat. It's entirely up to you whether you want to do it or not. But I do worry that even suggesting it, you know, some people who might have some sort of loyalty to me feel like they have to do it, or I just don't want that. I mean, that's, to me, prompts are one of the ugly struggles that we all have with writing, you know, and it involves essentially practice writing, and I'd rather have people practice on their own and then create something and then present that, because I know for a fact that you know, for every one of these that I make, I've gone through 10 versions of it that sucked, and quite honestly, it's not a whole lot better than that one. So who am I to prompt you to do something that you may or may not want to do? It just feels so presumptuous. So I've gone on for about 10 minutes here to let you know that there's a lot of hidden stuff in every digital writing object, and that we all share the difficulty of creating useful and worthy and valuable objects that, even if they don't stand the test of time, at least don't waste the time of the people who are creating them, reading them, sharing them. Thanks.